Let's talk about foreshortening. The most challenging issue I encountered when I began drawing was foreshortening. I just couldn't grasp how objects could appear smaller over very short distances, like the segments of the arms and hands pointing toward the viewer. It looked weird, but at the same time it appears realistic. Objects in perspective exist in a 3D space. And as we discussed in the previous two principles, the overlapping and size versus placement, they cause objects in the foreground to appear larger than those in the background. So foreshortening essentially combines these two principles together. It describes how the object appears shorter in length and larger in size when viewed from a certain angle. For instance, consider this arm. When it's stretched sideways, you can observe how each segment of the arm appears in the exact size relative to the other parts. However, as this arm moves toward us at a different angle, things begin to appear shorter, such as the distance from the elbow to the shoulder, which is now much smaller. Simultaneously, the contour lines around it become smaller. As the arms move even closer, you can see how much larger the hand appears in comparison to the shoulder, while the contour line around the arm get progressively closer to each other. At this point, the distance from the elbow to the shoulder is nearly non-existent, and the contour lines almost overlap. Here we see the arm in a low position and at its full original size. But observe how once it begins to fold upward, the distance between the contour lines begins to shorten, and the arm's form itself starts to overlap. Here's another good example of an arm. You can see how the hand is almost larger than the chest and the shoulders due to the hand's proximity to the viewer. Eventually you will notice the hand appearing larger than the shoulders, with all the arm's form overlapping. Foreshortening creates the illusion of depth and distance in a 2D space, which in turn conveys the sense of depth and perspective. In these examples, we observe varying degree of foreshortening occurring in different parts of the body, the arm, the hand, the shoulders, and so on. When an object undergoes perspective changes, like moving either toward or away from the viewer, foreshortening inevitably occurs. This can be quite challenging to grasp initially, which is why it's important to draw objects in different positions to understand how they rotate and move in perspective, which is something that we will build on in later advanced lessons. This brings us to the exercise I found very helpful, drawing 3D objects in a 360 degrees rotation. This not only helps me understand the object from all angles, but also how it appears foreshortened in perspective. In the full horizontal view, we still see some overlap here and there, but the overlap shape is not foreshortened. However, as it rotates, we begin to see foreshortening affecting the overall shape. The banana's body starts to appear smaller and smaller, while the peel's head appears larger because it's closer to us than the body. As it rotates further, this effect becomes even more pronounced. By drawing the object from multiple angles, you gain the comprehensive understanding of its visual representation. Next, we have full foreshortening with the banana's body fully overlapped by the peel, creating a significant distance from the tip of the peel to the body of the banana. Trying to draw this without the previous images as reference would be very challenging. However, by drawing the previous rotations, you acquire the necessary information to get it right. Now let's explore what happens when the banana body moves closer to us while the peel recedes into the background. We start to see more of the body emerging while the peel itself moves away. Additionally, observe the overlapping peel on the top and the bottom. This may be a simple object, but you can learn a lot from drawing it in a full 360 degrees. And now we return to the full side view, but in reverse. Here we encounter even more foreshortening, with the banana body approaching us while the peel moves away. And now finally we have full foreshortening with the banana body fully exposed and the peel receding into the background. I can't stress enough how valuable this exercise is for understanding foreshortening. You can find numerous 360 degrees 3D object examples online on websites like HUM3D or sketchfab.com, or simply by using a search engine. Start with simple objects like fruits and vegetables, and gradually progress to more complex subjects like vehicles, figures, and full scenes. Before we move on to the next principle, let's examine one more example, a more detailed one. I want you to see how even larger objects can appear very small when they are subjected to foreshortening. For instance, this bus initially appears in a full-length side view, but as it turns, the front of the bus enlarges while the back recedes into the background, just like a normal box would do in perspective. And you can go over many other examples like that. So if you want to try this, try to draw as many examples as you can. seeking out different examples and gradually increasing the complexity as you see fit. This will help you to see objects not as 2D lines, but as 3D forms. You can find countless examples online, like I said, and it's advisable to start with a simpler one before tackling more challenging objects. This exercise will really benefit you in future lessons to know how to move objects, rotate them, and scale them in perspective, and to draw something in a 360-degree rotation. So please make sure to draw as many examples as you can before moving on to the next example. It will help you a lot in future lessons. Foreshortening is a complex object, and we will cover more examples in the future. But for now, this serves as a brief introduction to one of the principles of perspective. In the next lesson, we will explore the convergence of lines as the fourth principle of perspective. As always, if you find this lesson helpful, feel free to leave a like. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section, and I will do my best to answer them as soon as possible. To stay informed about future lessons, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next lesson.